we're going down. We're going down so fast. We still got dudes out here dating Kardashians. When in the hell are we gonna learn? Let's start with Kim. She started out dating Ray J. Where the fuck is Ray J? Is he even alive? Let alone making music? If I have one wish. Shit, if you have one wish, motherfucker, it should be that you never, ever met that Kim Kardashian. Then Kim went to Reggie Bush, one of the top college football players of all time, in my opinion. What did this motherfucker have? Negative 35 rushing yards last year? A man with no legs could have got more rushing yards than Reggie Bush last year. Then look at Kanye. Look what Kim has done to Kanye. This motherfucker's on social media begging for money. Taking clothes off homeless men's back and selling them and calling them fashion lines. Bitch, your clothes has got holes in them. Like, and this motherfucker needs to be checked into a psych ward. Having concerts in front of sold out crowds being like, y'all, my life's fucked up right now. Y'all, my life's fucked up right now. Then Khloe Kardashian's big ass. Lamar Odom was the 6th man of the NBA at one point. And this motherfucker turned into a crackhead. He done smoked himself into a coma. Smoking all kinds of rocks. One time in practice, they passed in the rock. And the motherfucker tried to smoke it. Now this man can't even make a high school basketball team. And between you and me, I believe old Khloe and Kim, they could take down an entire Black Lives Matter march, one dick at a time. Then look what Courtney did to Scott's ass. His ass is in and out of rehab over drugs. They say he's not right in the damn head, that he needs to be in a mental institution. And now, Courtney's 38-year-old ass is dating Quincy Brown. P. Diddy. That's his son, Quincy Brown. I give it 2.5 months. And this motherfucker's gonna be running around here like Orlando Brown, smoking crack rocks, meth, sucking dick for quarters and shit. Guaranteed. Talking about, I got these cheeseburgers. And to the mama, you're probably the worst one of them all. How the hell do you turn an Olympian into a full-blown man bitch? This man bitches went from handing over batons in a track meet to sucking on them. And how does a man bitch get Woman of the Year? Huh? Knowing that this man's walking around looking like that damn thing rolling around in the wheelchair in them Saw movies. Like, when the hell are y'all gonna learn? As Bobby Boucher's mama would say, them bitches are the devils. They are devils. And you all know that every pussy cat in that house is wore out. But every one of them's pussy looks like Flavor Flav. Whenever they queef, he goes, yeah, boy. Fucking when y'all gonna learn? Somebody needs to catch y'all bitches. Cause y'all bitches are tripping out here. Talking about trap queen this and trap queen that. Huh? Like if your man has been selling weed for 5 years and he is still moving dime bags, bitch, he's not doing it right or something. Like, he ain't even gonna get employee of the month of his own company. Bitch, of one employee. Talking about, I'm his trap queen. No, bitch, you're working 9 to 5 while he's at home drinking a fucking Kool-Aid, sitting around in some boxers and shit. Like, just because he can take you to KFC and get you one of them $5 fill-up boxes, that don't mean you a trap queen. See, trap queens, they get that rent paid. They get that car note paid, shopping sprees. And only shopping spree your ass is gonna get is at the Goodwill or Salvation Army. He's the type to give your ass $10 and tell you, Go wild. But don't spend it all in one place. Because, bitch, we know your ass ain't going to the mall and on no shopping spree. Because his ass won't even go inside of a mall. Because he knows he can't afford shit in a mall. Like, you might think them's Air Jordans, but really that's just a bald bitch doing the splits. They call them Air Bitches. Trap queens don't have food stamp cards. Like, you can sit and tell him you want a Michael Kors purse for Christmas all you want to. Because, bitch, he's going to go get you a faded glory purse from Walmart. Because what he's going to do, he's going to go and he's going to print him off a picture of Michael Jackson. Then he's going to cut out the Kurs part on a Kurs beer box. Then he's going to take both of them bitches to a faded glory purse from Walmart and then be like, here, bitch, here's you a Michael Kors purse. So your ass just might start wishing for some shit that's realistic. Like a $5 Starbucks card or a $5 gift card to somewhere. Or a pack of wintergreen gum. There you go. He can wrap you up a pack of wintergreen gum. Like, some of y'all girls just gonna have to face it. You're not a damn trap queen, you're a holler blossom. So some of y'all women need to get your damn mind right. Thank you. Please come again. Bitch. Men, we're going down.
Tired, but yeah, if you're like under 15, I think it might be just too young to take. Mexico, what's up, Gigi? How are you? You're right, Gigi. I know. Your comment makes me laugh. What the F? I mean, it's kind of true, you know. Can you stay on for 2 more hours so I can use my free spin? I can stay on for 2 hours. I'll stay on for 2 hours, but no promises that I'll stay on.
You all want Wanky the Twinkie.
Sabrina, how you doing?
Thank you, Princess Unicorn Sabrina, for the 400 likes.
Oh my god, we gotta write her name. We gotta write her name.
I know, we have to. Oh, yeah, see,
Eileen.
you need to talk to Princess Unicorn Sabrina.
One day
Thank you,
soon.
Silver Mercy.
One day. Probably when we get moved into a new place, I would say.
True. That's right. Sit, please. No more. Sit down.
I just put a fucking 2 gauge in my ear after I had only a fucking 6 in there, man. That shit hurt.
I bet it does.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I know, but I only had a taper that was a 2. I didn't have a 4.
4? Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta be patient and buy a 4.
Well, my teacher gave me the gauges, and I'm like, alright, fuck it, whatever. I got 2 2s. I can go and use one of them for my ear and just say, fuck it. Well, that didn't go as fucking planned. It hurts like a bitch right now, and next step I'm going is a 0 and then a double 0.
New stuff. New stuff.
Airbands are too fucking small that my sister gave me.
No. I went up one size every 2 weeks until I got to like almost half an inch, but that was like a long time ago. And I took them out because this area got blown out. There's like a bunch of scar tissue in it. But yeah, I just got all blown out, so I had to take it out.
What gauge did you have in? Did you say a half a gauge or
No, it was. What do you mean? Like it was.
what size did you have?
What's the size right below half an inch?
Quarter inch?
Yeah, it was pretty big. It was like you could see through it. It was a pretty big hole. And then
There's
it
a
was like
quarter
blown out butthole for like ever until like it healed back.
Ah!
I went from like the smaller sizes, and I would use I used like the moon shaped tapers, not like the needle where it like goes from skinny to like fat.
That's the two that
I
I'm
don't use those kind. I used to use like I said, the moon ones where it's like skinny and then it goes fat and skinny. So I could just
Yeah.
kind of like loop it into my ear instead of like trying to taper it all the way. Like to me, that was easier. Especially because I said it was
Yeah,
already needle. I did it
I'm
like
not even.
weeks. Because I was afraid of blowing out my ears.
Oh, there it went. I got the two. The two is now in.
From 0 to 00 was probably the most painful.
Oh, I bet.
No.
But right now my ears like really sore.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be really sore. You're wanting to sleep on your back because you're not gonna want to sleep on your ears.
Oh no, I don't sleep on this side.
Yeah.
Ooh, shit, that burns.
Mhm.
Oh. Hold on, let me see what my wife just said.
I did that so long ago.
Nada.
Nada.
Nadia.
Hello, suck my Twinkie.
But yeah, like that shit fucking hurts. Like, I'm surprised I'm not bleeding yet.
Yeah. Lauraville. What's up, Lauraville? Look who's in here. Jello Raiden Lauraville.
Hi, Lauraville. Hi, Tony. Hi, Tony. Hi.
Hello, Tony. I am Frank.
Hi, Tony.
Tony.
No, Allie, I don't want to stop playing with it. You have to move it around.
That's what she said. Huh? It's Lauraville.
Hi, Tony.
Look.
I can see a hat. That's it.
Brittany, baby.
Hi, Big Easy. How are you, bro? Jesus, what an ear.
Coming to a theater near you. Ready, G.
Oh, you
Everybody.
guys should fan up Ronald Truth. You guys should fan him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to be a partner broadcaster, and he's really funny.
I got a condo in Manhattan. Baby girl, what's that? You your ass invited. So go and get to camping. Don't pop a phone.
Your bottom, not the top. Get your lotion. You're gonna need it.
Look at that.
Little Ron got his own special egg.
Don't put that on the wall. No, tear that up, please. Please tear that up.
Now we have I kind of just decided people who spin kind of big bars get on the egg. Thank you.
Oh my God, glasses in the mustache. How much is not going on? I'm retarded.
Thank you.
No. Just an ear. Just an ear and an eye.
No, Winky is not black.
Nah, man.
Sit like this. You guys gonna have to see my bun.
Buns.
No, this bun.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On top of my head.
Bun.
Wow. You a hoe. Are you dating? Yes. Okay, come up here and sit. Thank you. The mermaid? I'm the mermaid, but not in cartoon land. How's your Easter? Our Easter was great.
You can tell in the fur, and you can see where cigar girl.
I almost broke the camera.
But if you do this, you can always tell the head's up here, so you can hostess is on top. Okay, down here, that's the no-no. I'm telling you. Sabrina, how you doing?
Thank you, Princess Hubert, Sabrina, for the 400 likes.
Oh my God, we got a rush
Oh yeah, see, you need to talk to Princess Unicorn Sabrina. Thank you, Silver Mercy.
One day. Probably when we get moved into a new place, I would say.
True. That's right. Sit, please. No more. Sit down.
In fact, you know what? I'm going to do it right now, capture my own fucking moment. Hi, welcome, Grandpapa John, to the broadcast. Tonight's a roast session. You're getting roasted. You look like Darth Vader's wife dressed him. Oh my God, ha 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 ha. That was so funny. Yippee-ki-yay! Okay, now capture the moment. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do it right now, capture my own fucking moment. Hi, welcome, Grandpapa.
Oh!
Why you coming home?
Technical difficulties.
Something's going on.
Let me smell your teeth. Where the hell? Oh wait, were you done? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I know. I was
What the
done.
hell does that even mean, Hakuna Matata? Is that like some kind of Arabic foreign hood language or?
It means no worries, Slinky. It means no worries for the rest of the day.
It must be Canadian then.
What?
I said it must be Canadian then. No worries, right? Oh shit.
They literally say it in the song.
Yeah.
Damn, I
It
literally
means
have
no
technical
worries for the
difficulties
rest of
right
the
now.
day.
Something's freezing up. Can I come back in a minute?
Yeah, you can come back in a minute.
All right, Hakuna Matata and Hail's Heard.
Okay. Ah! Wiki.
What's up? Okay, I had technical difficulties. My cream got hard.
Oh, okay.
It does that sometimes.
I know why. I know why. Hold on.
Are we singing Disney songs?
Audio is dead. There we go. That's better.
Somewhere. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's not Disney. What's that Aladdin one with the little guy like, let me buy you a cracker? That's not right. A whole new girl.
A whole new girl.
Yeah, that's what he got. He forgot about that girl who lived with him on the streets and everything. Like cooked him dinner and like bought him shit and made him that special tie-dye shirt that he thought was crap.
I guess that's something that what's his name? Bad Karma sings?
Oh, you mean Joey Butthole?
Is that what his name is? Joey Butthole?
That's what I named him, Joey Butthole. And then he got really weird. I named him Double J Butthole. You remember Double J Music?
Okay.
Remember poor little Double J Music? Y'all remember? You know, 14-year-old that got in trouble with the nudies and all that, and the penis pics and all, whatever the hell was going on. I don't really know myself. I'm just saying, Double J Music.
I don't know.
You can't
He got in trouble with the penis pictures? He was sending your girl a penis picture?
No. Apparently he sent somebody on you now that, but I don't know what was going on exactly, but he was like 14. They were like, you messed up.
Wow.
And there was no Hakuna Matata song either for it. It was just straight up gross.
Bad karma.
No, not Joey, Double J Music. That's why I named Bad Karma Double J Music, because he was kind of creeping me out like Double J Music. No, Karma didn't do it. No, my bad. Let me clear that up.
Oh, okay. I was like about to say, whoa, bad karma.
No. He's just creepy, not penis big.
Oh, he's just creepy. Okay.
Yeah, he said, what did you say? I follow my queen? Hell yeah, I'm wood, but that don't change the fact that you were following me around going, are you Brittany? And her going, are you Winky? He thought we switched accounts. I'm like, we don't do that. We just switch positions.
Cool.
Accounts. No. She's entitled to her privacy. And then he just never shut up, so it's kind of like, you're annoying her, you're annoying me.
Oh
Sorry,
my
bro.
God, Miss Screamer, thank you for saying that. He's creepy as
And here's the
fuck.
weird thing, he was so normal for like 3 months. He was like normal, regular broadcast, come in and, be with the chat, and then all of a sudden,
Well, I think he learned his lesson from after you gotta lay the law down on that motherfucker. You gotta lay the law.
It's like Corky from the Wonder Years. Fucker.
I know you did. Shit, I learned from fucking Dusty. Dusty told me all about it. He was like, hey, bad karma's kind of weird, and I was like, okay. You gotta lay the law down on bad karma.
Well, you can't yell at weird. Just gotta go, I'm getting attention. Ooh, it feels so good in my crotch. Oh my God. And you don't want that to happen, because exactly, I make a face like that. Yeah, it was strange ass shit. But yeah, it would have been funny.
Yeah, it would have been fun. You know what, bad karma, if you're not careful, I'm gonna guess you.
Yes, come in.
I don't guess I'm motherfucking.
I don't think he would.
You don't think he would?
I don't think I've ever seen him guess with anybody in my life or something like that. You know what I mean? But no, I don't think he would, maybe.
Maybe. Well, we could always try. What do you mean? It's just live.
No, we are recording more like, what do you like? You like...
Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. This is not live.
Oh my God, more like Simi Hard. He likes to see me harder. Ooh, that's... Okay, well, to each his own. I'm not having opinions. What do you...
She does, Megan. She does.
Who does what?
Oh, Megan said that Miss Screamer looks fine. She does look fine. She's like... She's pretty...
Yeah. So... Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, he's doing an eyebrow thing. Okay.
Yeah. Can I dance?
Like a white boy, huh?
No.
Yeah.
Do you see the color of my skin? I'm a white boy. I have no rhythm. Zero rhythm.
I have rhythm and I'm white. Well, kind of dark white.
Well, you got the booty dance. I don't got no booty dance.
Well, it's not really much of a dance. It's more like a pound. That's really it. The tap. It used to wiggle, but I lost my wiggle control, so yeah.
You lost your wiggle control? What happened?
I did. I got to get it back. I had to get my groove back. It went somewhere else.
Yeah. You lost your mojo? Is that what you're trying to say?
I got the mojo. Apparently I lost my groove like Stella.
Okay, like Stella. I got you.
Except for she had more rhythm because she was black and I'm not. But yeah.
Hold on. What's wrong with my camera now? Hello.
What did I call him? Leda. How you doing, Leda? Welcome today.
Who are you talking about, Laura?
Yeah, Leda.
Laura.
That's his nickname.
Laura 25.
Everyone gets a nickname. Well, not everyone. Some people. Leda got one. Leda.
Laura.
Yeah, but he's a team.
Hi, Rebecca. How you doing?
He's a team player, though. I don't know what team, but he's a team player.
Reaper?
No, not a creeper, just a fun troll that we converted into a trio. That's not very good. Whatever would be funny that would not be a troll.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay.
Shit, my face. I mean, shit, your face. Wait, no, someone else's face. Okay, there we go.
What was wrong with your face?
Nothing. It was kind of like, I felt like some funny shit was coming to it. Like, I don't know. What's wrong with my face? That's what I should answer. We haven't even started drinking yet. Wow.
Hi, Leah. How you doing? You can show up. My feet in this sweet beast. Holy shit. There she is again.
Are you naming the
Dímelo, Alta. No me falla un tema. Mambo Kings. Mambo Kings. Oye, dímelo que la corona del trap la tenemos nosotros.
Sorry guys, I was making my mum tea.
Basically, long story short, I was in school, was really overweight, got picked on for it, wasn't popular, done my first
You're so annoying, I know. Okay, anyway, I'm getting off now, so become a fan so you get notified when I come back on later. And I will see you guys.
Thank you, John.
Nah, you didn't say equal. You said more beautiful. That is not equal. You ain't going back into it, man. I got 3 kids. She knows me. Don't make my daughter upset, you know. Just because I had her at a different location and I had your brother at a different location with a different dad and your other daughter in a different country. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't my intention.
They're gonna throw like 3 or more 4 charges on him, you know what I'm saying? For being an idiot.
Yeah, I think they have.
That's why, I mean, I don't understand the point.
Musically send you notifications for people who viewed your profile. Hi Remo. Musically send you notifications for people who view your profile. Now they do. What if? No. Okay. Anyways, hold on. Let me go. X dot audios with 2 S's. Oh, you're in trouble now. Seriously, if I'm like stalking someone on Musically, they're gonna know. Can you imagine how much trouble we'd be in if like I started doing that on all social media? Wait, what? Did I type it wrong? It's only two S's. Yeah, hell, I'm 100% busted now. Yeah, I'm in trouble. Well, actually, you already said... Oh, thank you, Serena. I followed you on the account. I don't really follow back, but now I do.
Hello YouTube, it's another video, and as you can see right here, I'm about to play some Blacktop, and I'm actually about to give you like a little bit better, clear gamer, gamer stuff. And now, I wanted to thank Big Mike because I was actually waiting all day to see this. I was waiting all day to see if, all this crap was done, if Blacktop was exactly the same, and it turns out it actually is. I was gonna say, if Blacktop was actually a little bit different, other than just some stupid picture slapped on the wall, I would actually get 2K17. But I just wanted to thank Big Mike and give him a shout out and stuff. So Big Mike, say hi to YouTube.
Yo, what's good, guys? This is boy Big Mike, and I had a video I just made. I hated on the whole thing. Ronnie 2K, Mike Wayne, the whole NBA 2K thing, guys. You all suck. I hate it. Y'all do nothing to the last end. So, what's your opinion on it, man?
Alright, I'm about to basically give you an interview. I'm about to give you an interview right now while I'm playing this, game.
Give me an interview, alright, shoot it.
So, when we first played in 2K, can you tell me exactly what happened? Using completely, details?
Well, I went into 2K, made my mom player, and then started taking my mom player, he lost his arm. So, the video that I made before that, y'all gotta check it out.
Yes, his arms was completely gone, and it's only his hands, right?
Yes, they did nothing to the game. They didn't do nothing to the shoes. They did nothing to the shot meter. He's on one playing under some wild and we're sitting there playing on the same on court. It's been here for ages.
So basically, they lied about everything they were going to do. So they lied about everything they did. What they said they were going to do. They lied about everything. I know, because they actually want people to get it.
They not only don't talk about it, they don't do nothing about it or anything. I think it's a money scam, dude. I think
it is. Do you regret getting that game completely?
Honestly, no, but the game's trash, but like, it has better, you can post your up on people, you're not forced out of bounds all the time, like on 16 or 15.
It just looks like a
You can actually drive
upgraded 2K13.
So it has like better animations.
I'm not gonna give them that credit. No, they did nothing to it anyway.
Okay.
They focused on the layup game, the layup and knock game. Has better drive game. Nothing.
Well, you heard it first, YouTube. This is the first blacktop ever put on YouTube right now on 2K17. You heard it first. And as you can see, I'm dumping on people right now on 2K16. I'm doing my balls right now. Alright, so anyways, when you played blacktop, what did you see? What exactly stood out?
Five doors in the same exact court.
No difference at all? No new paint or nothing?
No new pictures too, right?
Yeah, five doors with a new picture on the wall, like always. They slap a new picture on the wall, is the court the same?
No, rosters and team ratings.
Rosters just got the new rookies in it, and that's it. And the people
picture like that, right?
No. They changed, you know, the background on 16 blue, it's gray on 17.
Retarded, man. It's retarded.
And the different songs. I give them that, a shout out for the 2K name for the soundtrack. The soundtrack is probably about
No.
on the game.
Dude, you should, no. You wanna know why you shouldn't do that? You wanna know what? You wanna know something messed up? Probably all the songs, they probably don't even have all the songs on here, in the whole soundtrack.
Even 2K11 has better songs.
No, the songs are good. No, hold on. The songs are good.
Songs are good on
It's just that they don't have. They probably don't have all the songs in the like all the actual songs on new gen and on last gen. They don't.
What songs do they have?
Well, you probably look. They're gonna do what 2K16 did. You know what? 2K16 was supposed to have more than what it does now, like 20 something songs for last gen. It has a lot more than that on new gen. Trust me. There's songs that they didn't really put on last gen for some reason. Like, dude, it's just messed up. They didn't even give LeBron James a hairline. That's just roasting right there.
Messed up. My guy looks like he's from outer space. He has no arms, has his hands floating. Everybody like, that's that.
Yes.
James head looks like a show.
Exactly.
Number 15, The Forbidden Suitcase. In July of 2016, a construction worker was hard at work repairing the roadways of Interstate 985 in Gwinnett County, Georgia. He suddenly needed relief himself, so he went about 80 yards into the woods to do the deed. At the end of the worn trail, he found a suitcase that would change his life forever. Curiosity got the better of him. He just had to see if anything was inside. The construction worker zipped himself up and unzipped the case. An eyeless skull peered back at him from deep within. Police detectives flocked to the scene and found more bones underneath of the skull. A lab test revealed that the remains had belonged to a woman who was most likely in her 80s at the time of her death. Aside from that, little else can be determined. Authorities were unable to match her remains to anyone reported missing. It looks as if the suitcase had been laying in the woods for quite some time before being discovered, possibly for years. Her death remains a complete mystery to this day. Number 14, the mysterious cabin. A local man is taking a walk through the Arcata Community Forest in California when he comes across a creepy-looking homemade cabin. From the outside, it looks like some sort of deformed murder shack. Whoever had built it had gone to great lengths to conceal it with foliage and other forms of natural camouflage. In fact, the homemade structure is so well hidden that it can barely be seen from 100 feet away. Inside of the cabin is a single well-organized living space that has a bookshelf, a pantry, water-purifying supplies, and an old typewriter that they use to make a to-do list for future renovations. If these documents were correctly dated, then someone had been keeping this shack well-maintained for the past 6 years. The person reported this discovery to the authorities, and they posted an order of evacuation on the front door. Whoever had made this building had only a few days to take all of their belongings and leave. When authorities came back a few days later, they were stunned at what they found. Or should I say, what they didn't find. Not only all of the vagrants' possessions gone, but the entire shanty had vanished without a trace. Somehow, they had been able to dismantle the dwelling and move it out piece by piece without leaving a trace behind. Amazingly, there were no tire tracks or any other sign that this person had used heavy machinery while doing so. The only thing left was a circle with a crooked arrow, the international symbol of the squatter. Number 13, the outdoorsman. In 1986, 19-year-old Christopher Knight abandoned civilization in favor of living deep in the woods of Maine. On that day, he passed by a random hiker, and the two politely exchanged hellos. It would be the last conversation he had with another human being until he was caught by police in 2013. By then, he was 46 and had made quite an impression on the local townsfolk of North Point. For years, he had been regularly breaking into homes and stealing whatever he could. Clothing, food, batteries, alcohol, camping gear, and propane tanks were the items he stole the most. Non-profit campsites and seasonal homes were his two favorite targets, but he would not hesitate to break into homes while people were away at work. His legend only grew as decades wore on. The North Point Hermit, as he soon became known as, committed over 1,000 burglaries and became an almost mythological presence. His fearful grip on the community became so bad that they would leave food out for him in the colder months. If you didn't leave food out for him, then he would come into your home. For as many home robberies as he's committed, the North Point Hermit was always careful to never leave a trail back to his lair. Likewise, he never burnt the fire because he didn't want anybody to see the smoke, instead choosing to bury himself under piles of sleeping bags, lying motionless in the frigid 10-degree winter weather. As hard as he tried, however, he would eventually get caught. A non-profit organization called the Pine Tree Camp had grown tired of constant death, so they installed cameras with motion detectors on their property. Police caught Christopher walking out of a cabin with a backpack full of food. He was arrested and sentenced to 7 months in jail with 3 years probation. When he showed police where he lived, they were stunned at the amount of items that he had managed to collect over the years. In total, they removed enough stolen belongings to fill 2 full-size storage units. While these were mostly ordinary household items, they nevertheless represented the collective terror of an entire town. For 28 years, residents had felt constantly watched and otherwise stalked in their very own homes by an unknown intruder. The police themselves were thoroughly unnerved as they sifted through an assortment of old labels from a dark period of local history. Number 12. The Hooker's Headstone. In 2005, a homeless man who goes by the name Riverwolf is wandering around deep in the woods of Santa Cruz, California, when he steps over a patch of land that feels different from the rest of the world. He kneels down and brushes some thickets aside to reveal an old tombstone with a woman's name on it. She had died in 1898 at the age of 21. Her name was Mary Holmes. The tombstone contained no other information besides these 3 basic facts. It did not say that she would be missed, or that she was loved, or even what year she had been born. From the looks of things, someone must have stolen it and thrown it on the ground years ago. It was a creepy discovery for sure, but since Riverwolf had seen a lot of strange things out in the woods, he didn't think much more of it until 7 years later, in 2012. That's when he reads an article online about Mary Holmes, and the name clicks with this creepy forest find. He discovers that she was a prostitute outcast who caught tuberculosis and had to leave her young daughter behind. The grief was simply too much. The depressed madam downed a bottle of carbolic and fell to the floor as the highly lethal chemical, which was used during this time period to sterilize surgical instruments, burnt her insides. Within 15 minutes, she was dead. Riverwolf feels compelled to contact the Museum of Art and History so that he can show them where the tombstone was. Her tombstone was quite hidden, and workers were amazed he was able to stumble upon it all. Some say that Riverwolf could have only come across the tombstone of Mary Holmes with the help of her actual ghost, who only wanted her marker to be shown proper respect. It is now on display at the museum. Number 11. The Black-Eyed Ghost Child. 7-year-old Christine Ann Darby was playing outside of her home in Walsall, England, when she was abducted by a dangerous man named Raymond Leslie Morris. The notorious pedophile murderer strangled her with his bare hands and left her in a field. Her brutal death occurred in August of 1967, but she would surface again many years later in 2015. This time as a black-eyed ghost child. A paranormal investigator named Tom Buckmaster and his ghost hunting team set up special cameras to record the area where Christine's frail body had been recovered. According to Tom's team, this paranormal footage clearly captures a distant child who is dressed in all white as she moves across the forest floor. The ghostly figure appears to cast its own source of light, and if you look closely enough, you can vaguely make out her legs. Based on this evidence, Tom feels confident that Christine's tortured spirit is now a black-eyed ghost child. Black-eyed ghost children are menacing figures that are largely thought to be the stuff of urban legend. Sightings of them began in the 90s and persist to this very day, as Tom will certainly tell you. Number 10. The Open Pet Cemetery. A woman is taking a stroll through her private woods in Hampshire County, West Virginia, when a pungent stench stops her dead in her tracks. The horrible rotting smell hangs thick in the air, and it isn't long before she reaches the source. What she stumbles upon is a traumatic sight for animal lovers everywhere. Hundreds upon hundreds of dead animals are strewn about the forest floor, all in various states of decay. Dead dogs, cats, bunnies, raccoons, deer, and foxes stare back at her, many with their heads cut off and medical tubes sticking out of their bloated carcasses. A large portion have tags on their collars with common pet names. Investigators are able to use this information to trace the corpses back to a company called Family Pet Cremations. This company has a state contract to dispose all of West Virginia's dead animals, but instead of incinerating them like they were supposed to, they apparently chose to cut cost by leaving them to rot in the wild instead. As for why many of the animals had their heads cut off, they had been tested for rabies. When it was all said and done, more than 250 corpses were recovered from the gruesome discovery. Over 4,000 pounds of rotten animal flesh had to be removed, but that's not all. 2 other similar dump sites were scattered throughout the site, and perhaps even more have yet to be discovered. Number 9. The Phantom Suspect. One summer night in Raynham, Massachusetts, a driver sees a car on the side of the road and pulls over to help. The vehicle is empty, but 15 feet away is a woman's body in the forest. She is covered in blood and appears to have been murdered. The driver panics and rushes to a stranger's house to call 911. When the police arrive with a medical team, they have to use industrial cutters to clear the forest overgrowth and get to the woman's body. Something had scared her so badly that she had ran into a patch of thorny vines and became stuck. Amazingly, they find a pulse, and the unnamed victim is rushed to the hospital in critical condition. One of the neighbors tells police that she had seen another woman in the area a few hours before who was acting suspiciously. They set up a perimeter and comb the forest with canine units, but ultimately find nothing. The person responsible for this remains at large to this day. Unless, of course, the woman is completely insane and did this to herself, which police contend is also a possibility. Number 8. Disturbing her remains. In March of 2015, 3 brothers were hiking in the woods of Westchester, Pennsylvania, at around 3 in the afternoon, when one of them tripped over a rock. When he looked down, he found it to not be a rock, but an old skull. It didn't look like it belonged to any animal that they had ever seen before, so they curiously picked it up and went back home to show their mother, Liza Wilhelm, who was a trained nurse. She took one look at it, and her husband immediately called the police. The boys took investigators to where they found the skull, and a full skeleton was soon uncovered. A DNA test revealed the remains belonged to a woman anywhere from 35 to 60 years of age. There was not a scrap of tissue left on her. She had been dead for at least 6 months. Police wouldn't say if the skull had any structural damage, but Liza said that she couldn't see any trauma when she first saw it. Either way, the dental records and other evidence did not match anyone reported missing in their entire state. Police suspect that the body could have been dumped from somewhere out of state. Number 7. What's yours is mine. Matt Bell and his co-worker Alex are 2 construction workers digging up a plot of land in the woods of Danville, Arkansas. They come across a foreign object that is round, brown, and ancient. Alex guesses that it's a cannonball from the Civil War and gives it a hand throw. Though they did not know it at the time, Alex had just almost killed them both. Matt thinks that the cannonball looks extremely interesting, so he puts it in his car and drives to his home in Hot Springs to show the rest of his family. They all agree that it would make for a nice conversation piece, but it's quite dirty, so he and his son, Justice, spend an afternoon power washing it in a driveway. They take it inside when they are finished and leave it on the kitchen counter to dry. The next day, Matt contacts a local Civil War museum and tells them about his rare discovery. They want to verify the artifact for themselves, so he drives over with a cannonball bouncing around in his back seat. Imagine his surprise when museum officials told him that this is no cannonball, but rather a Confederate landmine with a pressure-sensitive fuse. One false move, and it's kaboom! With this newfound knowledge, Matt drives home at 5 miles per hour, while gripping the steering wheel hard enough to turn his knuckles white. The mine is carefully wrapped in a sleeping bag in the back seat. Every mile feels like a full day. He makes it home alive and calls the police. They deploy a fully armored bomb squad to his home to dispose of it, but not without evacuating the entire neighborhood first. The squad takes the device to a nearby landfill and detonates it with C4 explosives. They aren't sure if there are any more mines out there waiting to be found, but I personally haven't heard of a minefield with just one mine. Have you? It's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person. So if you're generous enough to like this video, then thank you, because it really helps us out. Number 6. The Thing. It's 11:30 at night when Gianna Paponis hears a tiny scream coming from outside her California home. It sounds completely inhumane, like nothing she has ever heard before. The brave woman cautiously walks outside to investigate her wooded backyard, trying to make as little noise as possible. She sees something lying in the grass that even a photograph cannot properly explain. The slimy pink creature has 2 limbs and a gelatinous blob for a body. A well-formed neck takes up half of its body, atop of which sits a small oval head with elven ears and gray eyes. Its human-like face appears to have a nose and lips, and its mouth is stuck in a frozen scream. The grass around its strange corpse is matted down with a thick mystery ooze that Gianna dares not touch. She stays outside long enough to take 7 quick pictures and then rushes back into her home. She still has no clue what it is. Do you? Number 5. Nazi aliens. 2 years ago, a team of Russian explorers were hiking the heavily wooded area of Mount Bolshoi Dezhak when they chanced upon a strange and evil-looking cave. Inside, they were shocked to find the remains of a possible alien race who apparently had connections with the evil regime. The team finds 2 strange humanoid skulls. Each of them lacks a jawbone and has gigantic eye sockets that appear to be 3 times larger than humans. Their wide nasal passages indicate that they were once carbon-based life forms, but beyond that, it's hard to tell. According to the team's leader, Vladimir Melikov, DNA tests have proved inconclusive. Therefore, everything from demons to aliens have been proposed. Next, they find an old briefcase nearby with a strange message on the side and cryptic runes. Based on the area's history, they suspect these woods have been a Nazi meeting ground for alien contact, or perhaps to summon demons for Hitler's various occult programs. Number 4. The Stalker Shrine. James Rankins is walking through the woods of Syracuse, New York, in search of some local punks who are making fire pits on private property. He follows a series of hard-to-reach trails and walks through a hole in the fence, expecting to come across a group of them at any minute. Instead, he finds an empty campsite that fills him with dread. It appears that whoever owns this site has been up to no good for quite some time. For whatever reason, they have been collecting posters of missing people and putting them on trees. They even had gone to the trouble of having the posters laminated. James didn't want to believe it, but it was as if somebody had created this area as a quiet place to reflect on their previous kills. The young man finds plenty of supporting evidence besides the missing posters. A shoddy blanket with an opened can of food suggests that someone is squatting here. There are also sticks tied together in such a way that they could have formed a cage or a trap. He also sees a shovel and what appears to be a recently filled-in hole. At that moment, he realizes that there very well could be a corpse underneath those leaves. Suddenly, he hears voices in the distance and sees a dog. James doesn't stick around to find out who the campsite belongs to. He beats a hasty retreat and notifies police. When police detectives begin to question neighbors, one says they created the campsite for a Halloween party. This story seems to be enough to satisfy police, but not the internet. According to James, the supposed Halloween decorations have been up since August, and they continue to remain there well past Halloween. Could his neighbors still be using them as a shrine for murder worship? Number 3. Tomb of the Mutilated. Firefighters rush to put out a forest fire in Grapevine, Texas, before it can be spread. Thankfully, somebody had seen the smoke and reported it quickly enough for them to react. As they search the smoldering scene for evidence of what started the blaze, they come across a gruesome source, a dismembered body. Investigators are able to identify the charred remains as 24-year-old Jacqueline Vandegrift. She was a student at the nearby Texas Women's University. They began to piece together her last known whereabouts and learned that a night before the fire, she had met a 30-year-old exercise coach named Dean Bryant at a local bar. Surveillance footage shows the two leaving together with a third friend. Her cell phone GPS coordinates put her in Dean's house on that same night. When they search Dean's house, they find Jacqueline's purse in the garbage. He is now being held on $1 million bond on capital murder charges. Interestingly enough, he had been arrested for trespassing and stalking a different woman 1 week before the murder. Number 2. Forest Beast. On the border of India and Bangladesh lies a dense mangrove forest that is home to all sorts of fierce wildlife, namely 500 hungry tigers. This large tiger population is responsible for attacking at least 60 people every year. They even sneak into villages from time to time. In fact, a tiger once burst through the walls of a bamboo hut and snatched an 83-year-old woman. In 1997, Jamal Muhammad entered the forest in search of wild game to feed his family. Unfortunately for him, a wild tiger was doing the same. The ferocious beast pounced on him and clawed at his legs so that he couldn't run away. Then it dragged him 10 feet underwater, which is a common strategy tigers use to kill prey. Jamal fought back and somehow managed to kick himself free. He desperately swam as far down into the water as he could and then surfaced. The tiger was nowhere to be found. A passing boat picked him up. His tiger troubles, however, were far from over. 10 years later, he went into the forest again, this time looking for firewood to keep his family warm. A nearby tiger was laying in the tall grass at the edge of the forest, getting some sun. It noticed Jamal and went into an aggressive posture, ready to pounce. The two roared at each other for at least half an hour in a test of wills. Jamal was obviously much weaker than the tiger, but his brave stance made the wild beast reluctant to attack. When Jamal's wife came back with an angry mob, the tiger made a quick retreat and Jamal narrowly escaped. Number 1. Demolition Man. A man was walking along a private forest trail in Harlan County in Kentucky when he came across a camera lying in the middle of the ground. Motion-sensitive trail cameras such as this one are often used to capture images of wildlife. They can be quite expensive, so this is a rare find. This particular camera has no batteries and no memory card, so he hangs on to it for a bit and later gives it to a friend. When his friend inserts batteries, a huge explosion rocks him in the chest and blows off his fingers. Somebody had booby-trapped it with explosives. Police investigate the trail and find another camera rigged to explode. Somebody had used an empty shell casing, hot glue, coins, copper wire, and gunpowder to modify the camera so that it would detonate as soon as a battery was installed. They are able to trace the cameras back to one man, Mark Sawwaif. Mark Sawwaif is a loner in his late 30s who the local townspeople consider a dangerous genius. When they search his house, they find copper wiring in the trash, shotgun shells that had been cut down, black powder, and a note that reads, "Broken camera for a broken soul." Apparently, Mark had grown tired of having his camera stolen, so he had rigged them with explosive devices to punish the would-be thief. He either hadn't considered an innocent person coming across the camera, or he just didn't care. He was a urologist with access to painkillers and a history of selling them, so perhaps pills were clouding his judgment at the time. Despite this circumstantial evidence, Mark does not admit to anything. Police don't have enough evidence to charge him with any crimes, but they suspect he knows more. They can do little more than give him a trial date and a preliminary hearing to learn more. Within that time, however, Mark would strike again. Police soon learned that Mark was up to his old tricks again, setting explosives in the woods. They set up a perimeter and sent in a search team to find him. When they finally come across Mark later that evening, he is far from cooperative. After a brief standoff, he lunges for an officer's gun in a last-ditch effort to get away. He is riddled with bullets and slowly dies in the leaves. Although the immediate threat may be over, Mark's handiwork still lives on. Police now find themselves left with the daunting task of checking every trail camera in the woods for explosives. It's almost impossible to find them all. And on top of that, who knows what other traps the madman could have left out there. Perhaps years later, Mark will have his revenge. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also, go check out my channel, Mad Mike, if you would like to hear scary stories and even more countdowns and strange mysteries. Also, check out my newest video, 10 shocking Craigslist murders, especially if you are planning to meet anybody off Craigslist. After watching this countdown, you may have to think twice.
Banknotes, silver, 2 watches, 2 rings, and a box of mysteries. Inside the safe, was it money, jewels, an old family heirloom, a treasure map? No, none of the above. VHS tapes were found inside, along with a note that read, "Save yourself." Was this some kind of cruel joke, or was it an honest warning? The only folks who know are those who watch the videos, or maybe they're all dead, a la The Ring style. Number 14, the hidden basement in the outback. Now, there are creepy hidden rooms, and then there are even creepier hidden basements. That's what an Australian resident found beneath his living room carpet. After moving into his new home, the Aussie noticed that a patch of the carpet felt a little off, so he tore it up, 3 layers of it. Beneath this facade, he found an entrance to a secret room below deck, which had been boarded up. The brave man crept below his home into the mess of a basement. It was full of old bed frames, 24 of them to be exact, a recent newspaper, and even a fireplace, which looked to have been used not long ago. There were also power cables running from the upper rooms to the basement, implying that the creepy hidden cellar was, indeed, used for something. Why were there so many beds? Why the fireplace? Why did the previous owner go to such lengths to hide this secret basement underneath 3 layers of living room carpet? One can only guess what horrors might have happened there. Number 13, the toxic tunnel in the Brown's new home. Another Brown home mystery involves no codes whatsoever. In fact, it's fairly straightforward. Everyone who has been house hunting knows what it's like to be shuffled through dozens of prospective properties. Finding your dream home can be a nightmare, but what happens when you land your 5-bedroom, 2-bath house for an unbelievable price? You'd probably be over the moon that you snapped up such an awesome deal, but peel back the onion and you might just find that that the deal wasn't as awesome as you thought. That's what happened to Carrie and Jason Brown in 2005. They just moved into a fantastic house and started renovations, which included moving a bookcase aside. But when they did, lo and behold, they found a hidden corridor that led to a creepy secret room. What might they expect to find in this hidden room? A dungeon, dead bodies, a whole Narnia world unfolding before them? Nah, the Browns weren't fortunate enough for that. Instead, they discovered a secret note from the last homeowner, George Leventis, that told them the true story of this so-called sweet deal. I owned this house for a short while, the note read, and it was discovered to have a serious mold problem, one that actually made my children very sick, to the point that we had to move out. According to Leventis, black mold had made the home uninhabitable, that one of his children couldn't breathe and was unable to hold any nutrition. Leventis didn't have enough money to pay his mortgage or sue, so he just ceased payments and moved his family and all of their belongings out of the moldy house. He didn't leave without warning the next homeowners, however. After calling the realtor who'd sold the house to him, who tried to contact the broker several times to warn about the home's toxicity, he received no response, so Leventis did it was best to take the matter into his own hands and leave a note in the secret room where future owners were bound to find it and where the broker wouldn't crumple it up and throw it away. He didn't want anyone else to get sick like his children had. After hiring an engineer to screen the toxicity levels, the poisonous environment was confirmed, after which the Browns sued. Thank God for creepy secret rooms. Or this could have gone another way for the Browns. Number 12, the coffin-sized priest holes of Coton Court. Remember the 5th of November. An English Tudor mansion seemed like it would be the perfect place for a creepy secret room, which is probably why one was found there recently when a group of scientists used 3D laser scanners to examine a gatehouse tower in Coton Court. The secret room, aka the priest hole, was connected with the 1605 gunpowder plot to kill King James I. The 16th and 17th centuries saw many Catholics persecuted as traitors due to England's anti-Catholic laws during that era. They were regularly tortured and killed, but many priests still made the rounds, performing their religious ceremonies and rites under the radar for those wealthy Catholics who still wanted to practice their religion. Like those in Coton Court, in order for the priests to evade capture should their enemies be notified of their practices, priest holes were built in interior walls and floors of these English manor houses. The Coton Court priest hole was discovered in the 1850s. According to archaeologist Christopher King, we know that priests were hiding in these spaces for up to 3 days while people were searching the properties, and some of them are really very small, where the priest would be in quite an enclosed box-like space. The laser scanners show that the chamber was constructed with a double blind. When searchers would comb over the lot, they'd open the first compartment thinking they discovered an empty priest hole. In reality, an even deeper compartment was constructed thereafter, so in Coton Court's tower turret, there is a pretend hole beneath the floor, and a trapdoor that leads beyond into a real priest hole. Apart from hiding Catholic priests, Coton Court has a famed history. You've probably heard of Guy Fawkes and his plot to blow up the House of Lords at Westminster. Well, that entire plot was devised by Fawkes and his Catholic co-conspirators, one of whom, Sir Everard Digby, rented out Coton Court, which would serve as the meeting place for the assassination date, November the 5th, 1605. Those who had gathered there anticipated imminent news of the king's death. The gunpowder plot was discovered before the assassination could be carried out, and most of the gunpowder gang were caught, along with those who gathered and fled Coton Court. The plotters were later executed, but Coton Court, its towers, and its creepy secret rooms still stand. You can visit and relive the history of this place, and maybe even crawl into the priest hole and pretend you're hiding from King James. Number 11, the secret tunnels of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Okay, the title to this entry is misleading. We're not really talking about the fictional school of Hogwarts here, but we are exploring an underground system of tunnels found by a group of misfits beneath the private boarding school that they called home. The group attended a 200-year-old boarding school built around an ancient castle. The tunnels they found were maintenance tunnels used to repair the old gas boiler that heated the school, or so the boys thought, playing hooky and sneaking away from their beds at night. The boys created a veritable Marauder's map of their own school, measuring the tunnels with a measuring tape so that they could map it out to scale, but the underground tunnel system was even deeper and more complex than their time at the school would allow them to discover. The deeper that they went, the clearer it was that the tunnels were older than the school's boiler system, which were cement. The deeper tunnels were dangerous and led to locked rooms, into the castle grounds, which were banned, and into the forbidden forest, or just the regular old forest. During their tenure at the private school, the intrepid explorers spent most of their time down below, painting the walls with shoe polish and smoking near the headmaster's office, just out of sight. No doubt the school chums had the time of their lives. Number 10, the Room of Doom in Dunderden. The co-founder of Broderbund Software, Doug Carlston, and his partner, Miss Pierce, like a good creepy secret room, so much that he built 1,700 feet's worth in his Aspen home. To put that in perspective, you're looking at 6 football fields of twisted passageways, catacombs, and hidden swimming pools. The exterior log cabin is just a ruse to what's inside this mansion maze. Carlston, who created the PC game Myst, wanted to design it similarly to the puzzle piece Adventure, so he did just that. Pull on a filing cabinet drawer, and you may find you've opened a hidden door. Pull out a dresser drawer and crawl into the secret passageway beyond. Miss Pierce described the construction as similar to programming. In programming, you start with a black screen and find your way out of it, she said. You're making a path. Then if someone else discovers that path, it's incredibly satisfying. The result is you're all building a secret world together. The secret room is chock full of creepy secret rooms, including the Room of Doom, in which you must squeeze behind a waterfall on a narrow rock cliff. If you're afraid of heights or darkness, beware. The only way out is to jump through the waterfall and land feet below in the swimming pool, or take a chance going down the dark tunnel slide that leads to who knows where. Creepy, but also super cool. Number 9, the secret office in the 70s style home. One couple found a surprise in their new home. After they moved in, they noticed an insulation wall that appeared a little odd. Pushing aside the insulation, they discovered a doorknob that led them to the last owner's little secret, a creepy custom-built secret office, or maybe a secret man cave. After all, it was built by the last owner's old frat buddy, with customized appliances, including a trash chute that led straight to the kitchen's trash bin. Did the man's wife know about it or not? He could have used it to disappear for hours on end without her ever realizing, or perhaps more went on in that secret room than we'll ever know. Number 8, the World War II hideaway in Norway. Some students who were sharing accommodation in Norway took a short break from their studies. The landlord had told the students that there was a secret room somewhere in the house, so they decided to go on an expedition to find it. After covering every square inch of each room, they gave up and kicked back to relax, which is when one of them accidentally nailed the attic wall just right with his feet, opening the doorway to the creepy secret room. The room is believed to be a relic of the World War II era, a hideaway for those fleeing Nazi persecution. Inside, there's a sign in Norwegian that reads, "If you have a bad stomach, then you don't have access." On the wall is plastered a map of Europe, while a lamp alarm designed to warn of intruders is nailed to another wall. To make the secret hideaway even creepier, a child's random white shoe was found abandoned on the attic floor, just creepy enough to send a shiver up your spine. Number 7, The Amazing Maze of the Brown Castle. The novels of Dan Brown, author of such bestsellers as The Da Vinci Code and Inferno, are known for secret codes, passages, and creepy hidden rooms, so it may come as no surprise that he built his house to resemble this fantasy world. He gave Matt Lauer of The Today Show a tour of his castle, revealing some of the secret rooms that lie behind pictures and bookcases. Although not particularly disturbing, the amazing maze of a house might serve as some future inspiration for one of Brown's action/mystery adventures, or it may become a real-life adventure for his future homeowners. Number 6, The Book Thief of Mont Saint-Odile. On top of the Vosges Mountain's 760-meter high peak, France's Mont Saint-Odile Monastery, otherwise known as Honenberg Abbey, served as a home many years ago to a group of monks. Built with a 6+ mile, 10-foot-high pagan wall, the monastery was well fortified for any incoming invaders, and it served the monastery well, since its foundation by Alderic, the Duke of Alsace, who built it sometime around the turn of the 8th century in memory of his daughter, Saint-Odile, for whom the mountain was named. However, the original monastery was destroyed in the Middle Middle Ages and was only reconstructed in the 17th century. In 1853, the Bishop of Strasbourg acquired it and restored the monastery and church. Unfortunately, in its reconstruction, he didn't uncover the creepy secret passage that a future book thief uncovered. If he had, the nearly 1,100 precious medieval manuscripts, books, and treasures in the Covenant's library might have not been stolen. The theft occurred over a period of 2 years, between 2000 and 2002. Once police were alerted to the valuables gone missing, they placed security cameras around the library to catch the perpetrator. What they found was astonishing. Stanislas Gos, a local teacher, had come across a map in city archives that showed a creepy chamber and passageway into the monastery. He wasn't out to steal and sell the books for profit, however. Rather, according to him, his burning passion overrode his conscience. It may appear selfish, he said, but I felt the books had been abandoned. They were covered with dust and pigeon droppings, and I felt no one consulted them anymore. There was also the thrill of adventure. I was very scared of being found out. The entire collection of books was stacked in his small apartment. The secret passageway behind a bookcase and opened by a hidden mechanism is thought to have been constructed so that the monastery's senior members could eavesdrop on the monks' conversations. Stanislas used the creepy secret passage, and in doing so, he received a fine and was required to do some community service, cataloging the library's books. No harm, no foul. Number 5, the panic room in John Hunt's house. Ever heard of a panic room? Captain Jonathan Hunt may have invented it in 1710 when he constructed a secret passage in his home in Northampton, Massachusetts. The creepy secret room was built to hide his family away from Native Americans should things go sour. Now it's a legendary part of Smith College, where the home stands as a resident hall. There's even a creepy ghost story to go with it. Hunt's granddaughter often met her boyfriend who fought for the Redcoats during the Revolutionary War in the secret passage. She is now said to haunt the place with all the wrath of a lover scorned. Number 4, the creepy cubby holes of the Castle of Mysteries. This Castle of Mysteries is a secret room paradise full of passages and hideaways that even the most cynical adult could get on board with. Also known as the Singer Castle, this mansion was built in 1896 on Dark Island by the famed American architect Ernest Flagg for the Singer Company's president. Yes, Frederick Bourne, the dude who made it big with sewing machines, also had a thing for creepy castles fitted out with dungeons and booby traps. What sorts of creepy secret rooms can you find in the Singer Castle? Stone staircases behind sliding walls that lead to who knows where, trapdoors in maids' quarters, and a dungeon with a black gate, straight out of any imagined haunted house. Not so scary scenes include secret wine cellars, unless the bottles are actually filled with blood. Nothing scary about that. And a treasure room with only a small latch to enter, one designed like a coat hook so that no one can gain access to the treasure, unless you try every coat hook in the place, that is. There are also paintings throughout the home that are designed to allow the host to eavesdrop on his guests. Was Bourne worried that folks might be talking smack about his sewing machines, or his burnt ham and potatoes? He's been dead for nearly a century, so I guess we'll never know. Number 3, the servant's kitchen in the manor house. The Graham Palmer home is like any other centuries-old manor house. It looks like your average cottage, but beneath everything that's old, there's a history just waiting to be discovered. When digging below his estate, Archie Graham Palmer found that history in the form of a kitchen, similar to the servants' quarters you might be familiar with from Downton Abbey. The findings below were as prim and proper as they get, down to very servant bells that could summon the peons to aid the manor's owners. The secret hidden kitchen was made creepier by the fact that it looked as though it had been abandoned on the spur of a moment. The pig spit was set above the stove. A cookbook from 1911 filled with recipes that could feed an army was on display, and pots and pans and dishes were strewn about. There was even a large heavy table for the servants to dine at. Just imagining being a servant in this creepy kitchen gives me the heebie-jeebies. Number 2, the secret rooms in the Winchester Mystery House. One of San Jose, California's claims to fame is the strange Winchester Mystery House. Perhaps it's not too surprising that this house was constructed by Sarah Winchester, the widow of famed Winchester gun industrialist William Winchester. After the deaths of her husband and daughter, a medium advised Sarah to build the mystery house, who said that the souls of those who were killed by Winchester guns were out to get her. The medium claimed, "You must never stop building the house. If you continue building, you will live forever, but if you stop, then you will die." And so Sarah began her construction. She did eventually die 38 years later, but not before building a house with 161 rooms, 9 kitchens, 40 stairways, 13 bathrooms, 47 fireplaces, 2,000 doors, and 10,000 windows. With no master plan in place, the house literally holds so many mysteries we may never discover every hidey hole. In fact, only recently was a secret attic room discovered by the house's administrators, one which Sarah had boarded up due to superstition after an earthquake hit San Francisco. Cracking open the room, the administrators found a number of paintings, a pump organ, a sewing machine and dress form, and a Victorian couch. To make the house even creepier, it's said to be one of the most haunted places in the United States. There are certainly more mystery rooms to discover inside this enormous mansion of lost souls. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you've ever been curious as to what I look like in real life, then follow me on Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT. I also have a Twitter at YTChills where I post video updates. I'd really appreciate it if you followed me, and feel free to send me a DM if you have any questions or suggestions. Number 1, the murder castle of H.H. Holmes. Perhaps the creepiest house on this list is H.H. Holmes' Murder Castle in Chicago. The real-life serial killer built the hotel with plenty of creepy rooms, trapdoors, and passageways in order to do what he did best, kill unsuspecting hotel guests. Although not a home per se, Holmes did live in the hotel, which he built around 1889 in anticipation for the World's Fair in 1893, which would bring lots of fresh meat to Chicago. He went to work purchasing an empty lot and building a 3-story hotel upon it, which people began calling the castle due to its enormous size. He put in a drugstore on the ground floor, which was just for show. The upper floors included a labyrinth with his offices, stairwells that led nowhere, doors that opened to walls of brick, and various other illusionary constructions to drive his guests mad before he killed them. He hired various construction companies to complete the project, so he was the sole person who knew the true blueprint of the castle. With the help from criminal carpenter Benjamin Pitzel, Holmes selected victims, mainly female, both employees and guests, whom he would eventually kill, while Pitzel would help dispose of the bodies. The extent of evil in this man is renowned. He built soundproof rooms that asphyxiated his victims with gas, a secret hanging chamber, rooms in which he locked his victims until they starved to death, and an airless vault where he would slowly suffocate some. Then their dead bodies were carelessly disposed of in a chute that led to the basement, where he stripped their skeletons and sold them to medical schools, making a quick buck off their murder. Holmes was eventually caught, but not before he tortured and killed hundreds of men, women, and children. The castle burned down not long after Holmes was captured, after which a post office was built in its place. One thing's for sure, I wouldn't want to work in that post office.
Number 15, the Lothrop Twins. Two red-headed twins posted multiple online advertisements for prostitution in North Carolina in 2014. Caitlin and Sarah Lothrop said that they were, quote, two sexy young twins with excellent talent, and added, "We have the perfect body with the softest skin." As if working as prostitutes out of a cheap hotel room wasn't bad enough, the twins weren't afraid of working together on the same client. "We can make your dreams come true and then some," the online ads read. They were being pimped out by a 27-year-old man named Michael Lewis. Lewis, who was providing the room and posting the ads. Evil twin Sarah seems particularly unstable. In addition to prostitution, she was charged with breaking and entering, assault, and using a communications device to make threats. Although more information on these crimes are not available, it seems as though she has no problem calling you to let you know she is about to break into your house and beat the fuck out of you. Number 14. The Trout Twins. Two twins found themselves in the same prison at the same time for two completely different crimes. Lisa Rose Trout and Liza Rose Trout were both 29 years old in 2014 when they were both sent to the Lancaster County Prison in Pennsylvania. Lisa was pushing her 2-year-old child in a stroller when she suddenly tipped the stroller on its side and walked away. While the child was left alone, wondering what was going on, its mother walked around picking objects off the ground that were there while talking to herself. Then, she went inside of a home and disappeared for a few minutes before coming back out. When officers arrived, they noticed Lisa had trouble pronouncing basic words and could barely stand up. At the same time, she kept making jerky movements that immediately let them know she was under the influence of something. According to her boyfriend, she often abuses her prescription pills. When Lisa arrived in prison, she was surprised to find her twin sister. Liza had been picked up on her third DUI charge and had already been in jail for months. It seems as if these two twins were destined for trouble. Number 13. The O Twins. On February 25th, 2013, a group of masked men break into a luxury department store in Germany. They commit a quick smash and grab and manage to take more than 5 million euros worth of jewelry and watches from the cabinets and display cases. When police investigators find DNA on a glove that one of them left behind, they are shocked by the lab results. Apparently, the robber was one of two twins. The DNA evidence traced back to two possible suspects. The glove belonged to either 27-year-old Hassan O or his twin brother, Abbas O. There's only one problem, though. German criminal law is very strict and leaves nothing to chance. The police would have to prove beyond a doubt that it was one twin instead of the other. Although there is no doubt that at least one of them committed the crime on that day, if not both of them, police still had to figure out exactly which one did it. And guess what? The O brothers are not talking. Therefore, neither of them can be officially charged. The twins say they are proud of the German Constitution and thank it every day for allowing them to steal millions and get away with it. Number 12. The Hahn Twins. Sonny and Gina Hahn seemed like two model citizens. In the 1990s, they had come all the way from South Korea to California with their mother, who was seeking to escape a bad marriage. They bounced around from Camp Ho to Lakeside and eventually ended up staying in Irvine. The two seemed to be very happy living with their mother in America, and they got top grades. However, when they set out on their own in their early 20s, it became apparent that they were also living secret lives. Sonny was a thief who would steal credit cards and go on clothing shopping sprees. The evil twin had no problem stealing credit cards from her best friends, reasoning that they had rich families who wouldn't mind the financial loss. Gina was just as bad as her twin sister, if not worse. While Sonny had only stolen a little over $1,000 from her friends, Gina stole over $40,000 from friends and family alike in order to cover her astronomical gambling debts. When Sonny found out how much her sister had stolen, she pressed charges. Gina was charged with multiple felonies and was sentenced to prison. Sonny's prison sentence allowed her to leave the correctional facility during the daytime to work at a job. One day, Gina skipped out of her job and went to her sister's apartment with two male friends instead. "I want this bitch dead," Gina had told them. She had the two friends pose as magazine salesmen to get her sister to open up the door. Instead of Sonny, her roommate Helen Kim opened the door. Gina's friend flashed a gun and pushed his way in. She was tied up. Meanwhile, Sunny was in the next room. She called 911 moments before she, too, was grabbed and gagged. She was tied up and forced into the bathtub with Helen. The two feared for their lives. They had absolutely no idea what these people wanted from them, and Sunny would never have guessed that her evil twin was to blame. Police arrived shortly after and only managed to catch one person. Gina and her other friend had gotten away, but they were captured shortly after. At first, Sunny refused to talk to the press about her sister, but after a television series called Hard Copy offered her $10,000, Sunny suddenly had no problem telling them exactly how evil her twin had been. Proving Gina intended to kill her sister was easy. Aside from witnesses who heard Gina say she wanted to commit murder, she was also found to have recently bought trash bags, gardening gloves, and pine saw to cover up the scent. In 1998, she was sentenced to 26 years in prison. Number 11. The Kray Brothers. Twin brothers Ronnie and Reggie grew up on the East End of London in the 1940s. Together, they would cut themselves a path of destruction that would eventually earn them the title as the most dangerous men in Britain. The twins were both obsessed by mafia movies from a young age, and they knew that living the mob life was their destiny. They started to dress and act the part, and they could definitely back it up too. Reggie in particular. He was an incredible boxer who could break your jaw in one shot. One of his favorite gangster moves was to offer you a cigarette and then punch your lights out. It worked every time. They started to call themselves The Firm and began recruiting other thugs into their mob gang. Then, they started taking over local businesses and started demanding a percentage of the profits in exchange for protection, which really meant that they would leave the owners alone. If the businesses didn't pay up though, then Ronnie and Reggie gave them double trouble. Sometimes the Krays literally carved their reputation into other people. In 1954, the twins were hanging out in a pool hall that they had taken over when a Maltese gang thought that they would make a power play and demand protection money from the firm. Ronnie went into a psychotic rage and slashed at the gangsters with a curved short sword until they all ran off, terrified. At another time, a famous jewel thief named Lenny Hamilton broke the nose of a firm member, so Ronnie took care of him personally. He had two firm members hold Lenny down as he took a red-hot poker and slowly tortured him with it. First, he burned all of Lenny's hair off of his head. Then, he jabbed the poker through his suit into Lenny's stomach. Lenny peed all over himself in fear as Ronnie stamped the poker onto both his eyebrows and then told him his eyes were going to be burned off next.
And he said, now I'm going to burn your fucking eyes out. And someone at the back shouted out, no, I'm not there.
Luckily for Hamilton, another member of the firm convinced Ronnie that it was too much and that Lenny had clearly already learned his lesson. Soon, the twins had established a full criminal empire. They were receiving thousands of pounds in kickbacks every month from a gambling club called Esmeralda's Barn, and they had their own nightclub called the Double R to hang out at and live the mob life. At this point, the two felt confident enough to reveal a huge secret to their community: their homosexuality. This was a touchy subject that they feared would have hurt their image at first, so the two kept it secret. For a long time, they only had gay sex with each other because they felt there was no one else they could trust with their secret. When they came out of the closet, it bothered a lot of people. One gangster named George Cornell was overheard calling Ronnie a poof, which is a homosexual slur in Britain. Ronnie was suffering from schizophrenia at this point and really didn't care about getting caught. He shot George at the Blind Beggar pub in front of numerous witnesses. Around the same time, his brother Reggie stabbed a gangster named Jack the Hat McVitie for similar reasons. The cops started to put a lot of pressure on members of the firm, and they finally started squealing. The two were arrested in May of 1968, and their mafia lifestyle was over as quickly as one of Ronnie's legendary right hooks. Number 10. The Silent Twins. June and Jennifer Gibbons were nicknamed the Silent Twins because neither of them could speak to anybody outside of their own family. They were born in Wales and moved around frequently. No matter where they went, they were considered outcasts by whatever new community they had joined. The few times they did try to speak, kids would make fun of the speech impediment they both had, as well as their darker skin color. This caused them to quickly hate everyone and go on a huge crime spree together. The twins soon developed their own language that let them plot crimes in the open without anyone knowing. They began to imitate each other's movements as if they were a single person. Therapists could not get them to stop doing this. When they were separated and sent to different schools, they simply stared blankly ahead and said nothing until they were reunited. They dropped out of school together at the age of 16 and locked themselves in a room. They started to drink, smoke marijuana, and only let over their 2 boyfriends for company. They also occasionally tried to kill each other. June tried to drown Jennifer in a river, and Jennifer tried to strangle June with a radio cord. It was an odd and evil relationship indeed. Their anger towards society soon caused them to become vandals and arsonists. They stole a lot of things and burned down buildings in their spare time. In the early 1980s, a fireman was injured when trying to put out a blaze at a tractor store which caused over $200,000 worth of damage. Then, a few weeks later, they were caught trying to burn down a community college. Instead of prison, a judge sentenced them to live in a mental institution called Broadmoor. At Broadmoor, the twins were given an IQ test and scored well above average, which made their complete lack of social skills even more bizarre to medical workers. They were put on high doses of medication and were kept separately. The few times they did see each other, they would attack each other on sight. Somehow, they eventually stopped fighting and came to the conclusion that if they ever wanted to be released, one of them had to die. Jennifer agreed to die if June agreed to start acting normal and try to interact in society like an ordinary person. This plan was the only way out in their eyes. They turned their behavior around and convinced the authorities to downgrade them to a less strict ward called Caswell in 1993. They had been in Broadmoor for 12 years by then. Almost immediately after arriving, Caswell's staff noticed that Jennifer was extremely sick. She died 2 hours later from a swollen heart, though an autopsy revealed no clues as to how this could have happened. To this day, absolutely no one knows how she died. Meanwhile, Jennifer has been released. Nowadays, the surviving evil twin keeps almost entirely to herself. Number 9. The Nameless Brothers. In 2010, 2 South Yorkshire brothers, aged 11 and 12 respectively, brutally tortured 2 slightly younger kids without cause. The hour-and-a-half attack was so brutal and sadistic that it earned them both 5 years behind bars. The 2 brothers took their young victims to a quiet spot and proceeded to think of new and creative ways to ruin them forever. These methods included hitting them with bricks, making them swallow pointy nettles, and making them molest each other while naked for their own enjoyment. As if that wasn't enough, they were also whipped with cable, cut with pieces of barbed wire, hit with rocks and branches, burned with melting plastic, jumped on, kicked, and they even had a lit cigarette shoved deep into an open wound. The cruel pair only stopped when one of the boys stopped moving and they thought he could be dead. They did not stop out of mercy, but rather because they could no longer get a reaction out of the exhausted and thoroughly tortured boy. As it turned out, he was minutes from dying by the time help arrived. The younger, 9-year-old victim managed to walk barefoot out of a muddy ditch and also managed to find help. His arm was severely wounded and he was barefoot. His face was covered in so much blood that the adult thought it had been painted on. When the brothers went to trial, the judge said that he was so disgusted that he refused to give any further information as to what they did, simply adding that the physical and emotional scars would be with their victims for a long time to come. The whole thing was captured on a cell phone camera. At court, the victim's furious mother shouted profanities at them and hoped someone would do the same thing to them one day. Only time will tell if her wish will come true or not. Number 8. Peter and Michael Verslaus. Peter and Michael Verslaus are two twins who share everything together. In May of 2014, the twins hired a prostitute and took her to an abandoned house in Grand Rapids, Michigan. After they finished having their way with her, they told her how beautiful she was and refused to pay. Then, Michael held her down while Peter repeatedly beated her with a golf club. The twins were drunk and high on LSD as the beating went on and on. The 33-year-old victim begged for her life as the golf club came down on her repeatedly, smashing her face and body. She couldn't understand what was happening. This wasn't their first time together, and the twins had been respectful and kind to her before. By the time the brutal attack was over, she was nearly lifeless. There was enough blood to even scare the twins. They left her to die alone in the abandoned property. She left at 1 a.m. with only a blanket wrapped around her. Later, she was found by a random person who got her help. The victim had 9 broken bones and a permanently smashed-in nose, and she needed metal pins as well as 22 titanium screws. Wide gashes in her scalp needed 8 staples to close. The attack left her with brain damage. "I will be like this for the rest of my life," she told the court. "I'm never going to be all right." Peter was given 14 to 24 years in prison for the beating. His brother Michael is a repeat offender and was given between 23 to 50 years. Number 7. The Whitehead Twins. A pair of twins in Conyers, Georgia, murdered their own mother in 2010. Tasmaya and Jasmaya were only 16 years old when they got into an argument with their mother one school morning. Their mother accused them of smoking marijuana and messing around with boys. She hit Jasmaya upside the head with a pot, and then the situation turned deadly. Tasmaya grabbed the pot, so her mother grabbed a steak knife instead. They called each other names while they were in a standoff in the middle of their own home. Eventually, according to the twins, their mother calmed down and took a seat at the kitchen table. When she lunged for the knife again, the twins stabbed her. The knife severed their mother's spine, jugular, and deflated her lungs. The twin sisters dragged her into the bathtub to die, and then they went to school. When they came back home, they called the police and told them they had found their mother dead. Police found bites and scratch marks on both Tasmaya and Jasmaya and knew that there had been a struggle. It took months to get a proper confession. Evil twin Tasmaya pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter, making a false report and possession of a knife, and her twin was convicted of similar charges. Both were sentenced to 30 years in prison, but it doesn't seem likely that they will stay there for long. They are both eligible to be let out early on parole as early as next year. Number 6. The Spahalski twins. Stefan and Robert Bruce Spahalski were two murderers who kept their dark secret hidden from the rest of their family and even from each other. Growing up, the two would often compete with each other to see who could commit the most crimes and steal the biggest items, but neither knew how far the other could and would go. One day, when he was only 16 years old, Stefan killed the owner of a store because, in his mind, he knew that the man, quote, deserved it. While this was going on, his brother Robert was smoking crack and becoming a serial killer himself. Stefan may have been the first to kill, but Robert killed much more often. At one point, he strangled a prostitute with an electrical cord, and he choked his girlfriend to death with his bare hands. He also beat the owner of a landscaping company to death with a hammer and kept his body in his basement. He was sentenced to 100 years, though an AIDS infection will probably cut this sentence short. I thought I was the only murderer in the family, Stefan said to a corrections officer after seeing his brother make the news. He just couldn't believe the odds. Number 5. The Carr Brothers. In late 2000, Reginald and Jonathan Carr were in their early 20s when they invaded the home of 3 men with 2 female guests over. The Carrs forced them all to strip, made them perform sexual acts on each other, and then they beat the men and raped the 2 women, eventually driving them to a soccer field and killing all 5 of them execution style with a bullet to the back of the head. It was one of the most horrible homicides in Kansas history. One of the victims was planning to become a priest and the other a nun. The Carr brothers were both sentenced to death. They are still on death row to this day. Number 4. The Shen Brothers. In 2004, Chinese officials raided an apartment that was rented by 2 brothers by the first name of Shen. Inside, they found the cut-up corpse of a woman along with stolen bank cards, cash and expensive jewelry. It was the end of a long killing spree that had started way back in June of 2003. The evil brothers, aged 21 and 29, had traveled the country with a 3rd female friend named Du Surong. Together, they brutally murdered and mutilated 11 Chinese women who worked as prostitutes at bathhouses and nightclubs. The insane brothers were not only murderers, but cannibals as well. They ate the kidney of one of their victims together on more than one occasion. They also stabbed to death an old business partner in his old home after plans for opening an auto shop had failed, but the rest were women, some as young as 16. The way they killed sex workers varied. Sometimes they would strangle them, sometimes they would stab them, sometimes they would burn them, and sometimes they would dissolve them with acid and flush them down the toilet. In fact, that last method is exactly what police found them trying to do with the body during the raid that finally brought them both to justice. Number 3. The Cook Brothers. Anthony and Nathaniel Cook used their jobs as truck drivers to travel the countryside on a Texas killing spree that lasted from 1980 to 1981. Together, they would rape and kill a hitchhiker by the name of Connie Sue Thompson, torture and kill a 12-year-old girl named Dawn Bax, and attack whoever else they could get their hands on. One day, the Cook brothers abducted a 24-year-old victim and his 18-year-old girlfriend and took them to a remote area. They shot the man in the stomach and stabbed his girlfriend while raping her. She survived. He did not. They tried to do the same thing to a second couple, but this time, the girl they kidnapped was able to phone her father. Her father arrived to help and was shot by Anthony as soon as he got there. Anthony was captured in 1981, but it took 17 years for police to catch Nathaniel using DNA evidence. In 1998, he was taken in by police, and the state of Texas could finally rest easy. Their confessions revealed that the man had separately killed people before, as far back as the early 1970s, though they did not decide to do it together until that fateful year in 1980. Number 2. The Briley Brothers. In the late 1970s, 2 brothers went on a trail of terror that caused the city folk of Richmond, Virginia to stay inside out of fear for their lives. It all started when 16-year-old Linwood Earl Briley, the oldest of the 2, sat in his bedroom and aimed a rifle at an elderly neighbor. He shot 57-year-old Orlean Christian while she was hanging laundry in her backyard. Police thought it was a heart attack until somebody noticed a small, bloody hole in the back of her clothing at the funeral. Together, Linwood and his brother Anthony Ray joined up with a friend named Duncan Eric Meekins and started killing anyone they pleased. The murders were horrific and full of torture. They saw nothing wrong with burning people to death, crushing heads with cinder blocks, and even using scissors, knives, and even a fork to kill. One time, They even murdered a 5-year-old boy in full view of his parents before shooting them. That's how heartless they were. Sometimes they committed rape as well. As brutal as their crimes were, they followed no patterns for police to form a common connection. The brothers were eventually found in Philadelphia after a 20-day killing spree, and they were executed by electric chair. Their friend Duncan was sentenced to life in prison for his role. Testifying against them is probably why federal prosecutors spared his life. Number 1. The Gonzalez sisters. In the 1950s and 60s, 2 Mexican sisters named Delfina and Maria Gonzalez managed to kill more than 90 victims while running a white slavery ring. They owned a small ranch in Mexico where the 2 would place help-wanted ads in the local newspaper asking for maids. They asked for physically attractive women to respond only. When the respondents would arrive, the Gonzalez sisters would act like everything was normal at first. They would hire them on the spot and take them to a second house farther away. This house was actually a prostitution ring. Only when they got there would the victims learn of their true fate. If the girls did not want to work for them as prostitutes, they were brutally beaten and tortured until they did as they were told. To achieve this, they were made to hold heavy bricks for hours, clubbed mercilessly, or thrown into water that was freezing cold. They were also forced to ingest heroin and cocaine to make them addicted to drugs and less likely to leave. If the women started to become ugly from such a rough lifestyle, or if they became sick from their daily diet of tortilla bread and beans, they were beaten to death instantly. If they became pregnant, they were hung by their hands and beaten in the stomach until they gave a miscarriage. This operation was run in multiple houses, each with its own private cemetery. Worst of all, Mexican police and politicians largely knew about this deadly slavery ring, but they were all bribed so as to not do anything about it. It only ended in 1964, when 3 sex slaves escaped to the nearby town of Leon and told everything. When the police finally raided the houses, the Gonzalez twins had been alerted by corrupt officials and had already escaped. Inside, police found the dead bodies of 80 women, 11 men, and a lot of dead infants. Eventually, the Gonzalez sisters were found on the run and sentenced to 40 years each, which was the maximum sentence under Mexican law at the time. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you're interested in more Twisted Top 15s, make sure to subscribe. Also, you can head over to my channel for horror stories of the fictional kind, because sometimes real life just doesn't do the trick. You can find the link for that in the description. My name is Sir Aim, and I hope to see you all later. From Twitch, Periscope, and YouNow to Facebook and Instagram Live, it's becoming easier and easier for someone to live stream any moment of their day. While most streams only involve a late night gamer killing time or a random celebrity
communicating with fans. Every once in a while, something extraordinary and horrifying happens. Here are 15 of the creepiest things to happen during a live stream. Keep in mind that some are much worse than others. Number 15, cat scratch. If you get squeamish at the sight of blood, this next video will give you chills. This YouTuber and online gamer, Sarah Kate, was live streaming on Twitch late at night when things got out of hand. Sarah was sitting in front of her computer in a dark room. Her cat was perched on a chair behind her. While taking a break from the game and chatting with a few followers, Sarah leaned back to play with her cat. Sarah talked cutesy, saying "give me kisses," and even rubbed her face on the adorable feline. Apparently the cat wasn't having it, or perhaps wanted to play a bit too rough because it quickly clawed at Sarah's eye. The motion was quick and didn't seem too damaging. Sarah immediately threw her head down in pain though, and it was clear the cat had caused some harm. After a moment or so, Sarah finally looked up and showed that blood was pouring from her left eye. It looked almost as though she was crying blood. She sobbed and asked followers, "What should I do?" as the blood continued to trickle down her face. For the most part, this video is just unsettling because the amount of blood it contains, but it's also a bit terrifying to wonder what damage this may cause. Number 14, Anthony Cumia. This popular radio personality is best known for his work on the Opie and Anthony radio show, which ran from 1995 to 2014. Those that don't know him from his radio spot may know him from a domestic abuse incident that went viral. In December 2015, Anthony Cumia was arrested and charged for domestic abuse, a disturbing evening that was apparently live streamed by Cumia's 26-year-old girlfriend, Danny Golightly. After the video was streamed via Periscope, clips began circulating the web. Most of the clips began with Danny showing viewers her swollen and allegedly broken hand. "I'm waiting for police right now," Danny said to the audience.
"Hi, I'm in Long Island. I got my hand broken. I'm waiting for the police to come. Oh my god, don't hit me again. Stay away from me. I tried to call the police."
Off camera, Cumia was mostly trying to play cool and brush everything off by saying she was being silly and inviting her to sing karaoke. Danny called Cumia a psycho and laughed at the fact he acted so differently on camera. For several months, this was the only footage most knew about, but later on an extended version was uploaded. In this longer video of the broadcast, Cumia is seen searching through his home for a handgun he lost. As he rummages through the house, Danny whispers to Periscope viewers that Cumia threatened he would lie to police and get her in trouble.
Where the fuck is my gun? Fuck!
I was told I'd get my reputation ruined, and I'd be ruined for the community and everyone would hate me. And I was like, alright, well I guess I can do it first then.
She also warns that she needs to go soon so she won't get hurt. Not long after this, 2 police officers show up. Danny whispers, "We're in trouble now." Danny and Cumia both convince police that everything was an accident, and the officers leave without hesitation. Danny complains that the officers are horrible for leaving her, clearly covered in bruises, while her intoxicated boyfriend searches for a firearm. The pair are both clearly drunk in this video, and their relationship is an abusive and unhealthy one. This video gives an alarming look into an abusive relationship with someone who admits to be dependent on alcohol. This should serve as a lesson to anyone stuck in an unhealthy relationship to get out before you get both hands broken in 1 year, according to Danny. Number 13, cockroaches. Yet another chilling entry for viewers who fear bugs, specifically roaches. This live streamer known as Battle Athlete got quite the scare while playing Fighting Vipers while online. As he was focused on his game, you can barely make out a roach crawling onto his shoulder. The roach moves towards his back and that's when he notices. He jumps forward and shakes, asking the girl behind him, "Was that you? Is there something on my back?" She immediately notices that a large roach is on his back and she runs out of the room. As he follows quickly behind, the rest of this video is just Battle Athlete screaming in the background. You can almost feel the 6-legged creepy crawly sneaking up on your shoulder as you watch.
Is that you? Is there something on the back of my neck right now? Here, wipe it off me, quick! Snatch it! Quick! Help! Help! No, come smack it off! Now get it!
Number 12, Marina Joyce. It's fair to say that anything Marina Joyce posts nowadays is unsettling or concerning in some manner. Who would forget the infamous publicity stunt that Marina pulled to convince her fans that she had been kidnapped? During a live stream in July 2016, Maria attempted to put the rumors to rest. Unfortunately, her strange behavior only fueled the fire. From her unusual paranoid glances and fidgety movement, to the way she seems to whisper at random points, Marina unsettled her fans even further. When asked about her bruises seen all over her body, she said, "I was not okay, and it's a sad story, but I can't tell the story because it's personal." And she then goes on to tell her fans that she loves them and that they need to know that.
Explain the bruises. It's actually a private story. It's quite a sad story. But like recently, it's actually the bruises. I wasn't okay recently, so like it's really sad about the bruises. But I can't say what happened. But okay, and I really do love you guys. So I just want to let you guys know that I love you, and that you need to know how much I love you, and that I really care about you. And just as much as you care about me, I care about you.
Some believe this is her hinting at an abusive relationship or even self-harm. Later she reads a comment aloud that says, "If you're not okay, say hi to everyone in the chat." She immediately goes on to yell hello at everyone viewing her.
Why do you whisper? If you're not okay, say hi to everyone who's joining. Hi everyone who's joining! I really love you! Thank you for joining!
Most can brush this off as a misunderstanding, but others grip their concern and search for a cry for help. Whether it's drug abuse, a mental illness, or an actual abusive situation, it's clear that Marina Joyce is going through something pretty heavy, and her adoring fans are scared for her safety. Number 11, Chicago kidnapping. In January 2017, a Chicago teen was kidnapped and tortured on Facebook Live. The victim was an 18-year-old male with special needs. He had been reported missing by family just a few hours before the stream began. During the live stream, a few other teens were laughing and eating while they talked about what to do next. The victim was burned with their cigarettes. His clothes were cut off and his hair was cut in a violent way that caused his scalp to bleed. Aside from the cruel laughing, the suspects also made remarks about Donald Trump, president-elect at the time. According to some that viewed the stream, they forced their victim to also make negative remarks about Trump. 2 males and 2 females were later arrested for this sick crime. While they did seem to show remorse, it's hard to believe that anyone twisted enough to do this to someone with special needs feels any kind of guilt. This case caused a lot of controversy as some claimed it was not a hate crime, though it's clear that hate is what fueled the attack. There are clips of the stream available online, but be warned, it isn't easy to watch.
Hey, shout out to PBG, them niggas real, shorty. Them real niggas touch anything
Number 10, live robbery. Though at the time, having something horrible happen to you on a live stream may seem like your worst nightmare, it can often come in handy. For one, if something serious happens, you've got immediate evidence without putting in any work. Furthermore, you've got a whole audience there for you through a scarring event. That's exactly what happened to this gamer. Sejin is a female gamer who posts videos to YouTube and streams live on Twitch. One night around 4 a.m. when she was streaming, she heard a loud bang outside. She asked her boyfriend to go check and see if one of her cats had knocked something over. He goes in and investigates the area to find the cat sitting on the counter staring at the door. Of course, he checks through the peephole but apparently sees nothing and heads back towards the room where Sejin is still streaming. Just then the intruders kick down their door and run in yelling with guns pointed. As soon as this happens, Sejin jumps out of her seat, leaving the stream going. She runs into their living room and more shouting can be heard. The intruders start asking where the narcotics are and proceed to steal their money, luggage, jewelry, and credit cards.
Oh! DP back home. DP! Please, DP.
Apparently, during this robbery, they explained that they originally came to the apartment complex to rob a drug dealer. but found out they would be unable and chose a random apartment instead. At one point during the live stream, one of the intruders can even be seen walking in front of the webcam with a gun in hand. While this break-in was terrifying and likely upsetting for Sejin, she was able to find comfort through her followers who reached out to her. One follower even helped her provide the stream video to police for evidence. Number 9. 4chan Fire. Some of you may have heard of this one before, as it is quite popular. In 2013, a 20-year-old college student identified only as Steven posted to 4chan that he wanted to commit suicide. While Steven did not give any direct reasons as to why he wanted to end his life, he did explain that he had been on the site for nearly 10 years and wanted to give back to the community per se by live streaming his suicide. 4chan users sadly encouraged Steven to go through with his suicide and his plan to live stream it. Steven quickly set up a stream to a website called Chatting. Just before setting things up, he allegedly took a handful of pills and drank a generous amount of vodka to wash them down. Once the stream was set and going, Steven started a small fire in the corner of his dorm room and crawled under his bed. Followers in the stream encouraged his death, expressed their shock and concern, or watched silently in fear or awe. On the original 4chan post, commenters complained about not being able to view the stream because the chat had reached maximum capacity. About 200 users were watching this young man kill himself, and not one single viewer tried contacting emergency services. While still under the bed and likely passing out from the combination of pills, vodka, and smoke, Steven commented things such as, "I'm fucked," and "I'm on fire." Later in the stream, before the fire spread fatally, firefighters bust down the door and carried Steven out. Reports were made by university officials that claimed Steven had been going through tough family issues, but did survive the incident and was getting help. Not much has been heard about Steven since, and most traces of the video have either been wiped or simply lost from the web. Number 8. Live car crash. Facebook Live is a fun and convenient way to connect with friends and family on the spot. It's useful for family gatherings, company events, and just reducing boredom. For this teen though, the fun, exciting Facebook feature led to her death. In December 2016, an 18-year-old Pennsylvania teen was driving with a friend sometime after midnight on a busy local highway. Brooke Hughes grabbed her phone and started a live video. Less than 1 minute into the live stream, her passenger and friend asked, "Are you going live?" A split second after the question, a tractor truck rear-ended their vehicle. After the sounds of tires screeching and glass breaking, the stream went black and silent for 7 minutes. A man was later heard talking, but it's not clear if this man was an emergency responder on the scene or the truck driver. The video then ended and was posted to Facebook. Hughes clearly did not post the video as she and her passenger died in the crash. Many believe it had to do with her phone dying or closing. When a Facebook Live video ends, it automatically posts to the user's page. Pennsylvania police stated that the video was removed, but it's impossible to know if viewers caught a copy first. As for the fault of the crash, the damage was too serious to tell if it was the fault of Hughes for driving distracted or something on the truck driver's part, but it's a good note not to use your phone while driving. Even if it isn't the cause of the crash, having the phone in your hand can greatly delay your reaction time. Number 7. Live stand-up. For the world, and especially America, 2016 was a wild year. Despite crazy elections, there were also mass controversies and technological advances. This incident brings those two together. In August 2016, a 23-year-old African-American woman was fatally shot by police. An intense standoff prior to the shooting was recorded on 2 Facebook Live videos. In the first video, an officer shows up to the home of Corinne Shandon Gaines. He stands in the doorway and tries to talk to Gaines, but according to reports of those that witnessed the video, she either ignored him or didn't understand him as she never spoke directly to him. This video was removed shortly after the shooting. The second video, which stayed up, shows Gaines telling a 5-year-old boy that the cops are there to kill them. Officers showed up originally to arrest Gaines and a man named Kareem Courtney for outstanding warrants. Gaines' warrant was over not appearing in court for a prior charge. Kareem Courtney fled the apartment with a 1-year-old child, leaving Gaines and the older child home. Courtney was caught and arrested without struggle. Gaines, on the other hand, allegedly aimed a 12-gauge shotgun at officers during the standoff and refused to cooperate. Reports also claim that viewers of the live stream encouraged Gaines to not comply with the officers' demands. After a 7-hour standoff, Gaines pointed her shotgun at officers and threatened to kill them. One officer, for reasons unexplained, fired a shot at her. In response, she fired 2 shots back at the crowd of officers and SWAT members. After this, she was quickly shot down, and the 5-year-old boy was injured in the process. Gaines, of course, died from the incident, and the child was treated for minor injuries. This occurrence during a time of high tension between officers and the Black Lives Matter movement. While some saw this as another unfair and sketchy killing by police, others believe that Gaines had ample opportunity to avoid conflict. It is unclear if the live video was ever removed, or if Gaines' account was deactivated after the conflict. Number 6, Chicago shooting. 28-year-old Anthony Perkins was fatally shot in 2016, and Facebook was able to witness it all. Perkins was walking around his neighborhood while live streaming to his Facebook friends. He spoke to neighbors outside and directly to the camera. Witnesses scream in the background as the shots ring out and Perkins falls to the ground. The phone shifts around before going completely black. The phone abruptly stops moving, but people can still be heard yelling in the video, which continues for 30 minutes before ending and automatically posting to the young man's page. He was rushed to the hospital but pronounced dead 2 hours later, as his wounds were too fatal. He was a father of 3, and while police reports that he had gang ties, friends and family claim that he was no longer affiliated with gang activity. Number 5, mother of 2. Kiana Hurden, a 26-year-old mother of 2, died while chatting with thousands of Facebook friends. Hurden was holding her 1-year-old son and talking to friends while streaming a live video. She was chatting about going back to school to complete her education. Hurden had over 3,000 friends on Facebook, so it's uncertain just how many people were viewing. As she spoke, she began to sweat and wipe her face. After this, she shook her head and fell backwards. Her aunt, who was watching the video, was immediately concerned for her niece and knew something was horribly wrong. Her son then began to play with the phone as she can be heard gasping for air in the background. Hurden's friends burst into the room and tried to help her and ultimately called 911. The mother was rushed to the hospital but died later that same day. Her cause of death was a heart issue triggered by thyroid problems. Friends and family said the young, hardworking mom loved to showcase her life on Facebook, but no one suspected that social media would record her death as well. The video was later removed. Number 4, Frederick J. Bodie. Things went tragically downhill for this aspiring actor after he was charged with sexual assault. The 33-year-old father of 6 had been arrested on suspicion of sexual assault. He was let go after posting a $100,000 bond. No formal charges were filed, but Bodie was expected to show up to a court date after being released. A few days after being let out of jail, officers were called by a relative of Bodie. The relative explained that they were worried about his well-being because he seemed distraught on a live stream. The video began around 5:30 a.m. in early January 2017. Bodie had been crying and expressed a desire to die while on Facebook Live. Despite the call from police, they were just too late. He had shot himself in the head while on Facebook Live and was announced dead at 6:30 a.m. that same day in the driver's seat of his car. This grisly death came just a few weeks after another live suicide was posted. As a result, Facebook gave the option for viewers to immediately report a video that violates their community guidelines. If a report is sent, the stream will be ended immediately. But what does this feature do to save the lives of those on the verge of suicide? Number 3, Nakia Venant. Just after Frederick J. Bodie committed suicide on Facebook Live, so did a young teen from Miami. The 14-year-old Nakia Venant began a live stream to friends on Facebook where she expressed that she had been suffering from depression and feelings of paranoia. The live stream lasted for 2 hours in which Venant cried and explained her emotions to few viewers. A friend watching the stream called local officers, but there were several misunderstandings on Venant's exact address of residence, and the officers arrived too late. They busted in around 3 a.m. to find Venant hanging from a noose in her bathroom, as her foster parents slept in a room just down the hall. There were countless efforts to resuscitate the teen, but she was already deceased. Reports claim that the video ended before the teen killed herself, while others say that they witnessed her hanging. Either way, the tragic video was immediately removed from Facebook. Number 2, Philando Castile. In 2016, Philando Castile and his girlfriend and child were pulled over in St. Paul, Minnesota. The officer asked for Castile's ID and registration. Before reaching for his information, Castile told officers that he was licensed to carry a weapon and had one in his pants pocket. He likely said this to prevent the officer from seeing the weapon as he leaned over and becoming concerned. Despite this effort to prevent conflict, a massive and tragic conflict ensued. Castile reached towards the glove box for his registration and the officer immediately shot Castile 7 times without question or a second thought. Seconds after the shooting, Castile's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, began live streaming to Facebook as her boyfriend lay slumped in the driver's seat. As she explained to the livestream audience what was happening, she pleaded with officers to hurry and get an ambulance to the scene. As she explains the situation to potential Facebook viewers, the officer that shot Castile screams in the background for Diamond to stay in the car. The officer is clearly distraught at the scene of his own actions.
He killed my boyfriend. He's licensed. He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm. We're waiting for him back. I will, sir. No worries. I will.
Even worse is that when emergency responders finally arrived, officers removed Diamond from the car and took her 4-year-old daughter in another direction. After seeing a man be shot and killed right before them, the mother and child were separated, allegedly for hours. She realized out her emotions in live streams. It was clear to see that this girl was not in a healthy mindset and was having trouble coping with her home life. In one video just before her suicide, she cried on camera and explained she was trying her hardest to be happy but just couldn't handle the emotional pain anymore. She said that no one wanted her to live and she had no reason to go on. She also stated no one wants me, and if they do it's for sexual reasons. No one cares about me. The trauma of sexual assault and a broken family life had taken its toll on Nicole and she could no longer cope. Shortly after this video, which is described as last cry for help, Nicole live streamed her suicide. The first few minutes of the video are of Nicole apologizing and explaining that she just can't deal with the burden of life anymore, almost like a digital suicide note. Then she hangs herself from a tree in her backyard. She struggles a bit at first and then just sways from the tree. Family can be heard in the distance looking for her, although when they found her it was not caught on video. A young girl was facing mental struggles and basically crying to the world for help. As you may have noticed, many entries It seems that every day there's something new and terrifying caught on tape. While some things are clearly faked or later proven to be some wild ad campaign.
formation. Thank you.
Beasley got his left hand on it. Dangerous throw. Now second and goal.
No.
Toss the money.
Nowhere to go. Damn it!
What a comeback!
God!
Another look to make sure. James White driving. Already shut off the confetti. Fans are on the field. And it looks like a good touch. Yeah, it does to me too, Joe. When the knee goes down, where's the ball? I don't know what they do if they had to turn this. But
Fuck this.
Hi guys, when we're talking about sleep disorders, the first thing that pops in our mind is sleepwalking. While sleepwalking isn't exactly normal, it sometimes can be very dangerous. Okay, so you are now about to see 10 incredible and weird things that people did in their sleep. People were outraged when jury agreed that Kenneth James Sparks was innocent after the massacre he arranged. It's very hard to believe that a man could get out of bed, visit another house, strangle and stab its owners, and come clean about it at the police station all in his sleep. Nevertheless, that's what psychiatrists say. I bet it's hard to write when you're asleep. Better yet, using your email to send messages. Well, that's what that 44-year-old lady said. She even mentioned the exact time, 4 p.m. She was amused to death when she read responses the next day. Night eating